Welcome into Inside LAFC Podcast Extra Time, where we get ready to bridge the gap between the 2024 and now the 2025 season. We'll have some special guests, and we start right at the top. You know him, you love him. He is LAFC co-president and general manager, and recently named MLS Sporting Executive of the Year. John, that's got to be special. It's your peers voting for you, and obviously it's a reflection not just of you over the club, but what was your reaction to hearing that news?
Yeah, thanks, Max. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And yeah, I was certainly very flattered by with the recognition. I do firmly believe that the accurate interpretation is this is a recognition of what the club has done, and I've been a part of that, thankfully, for a long time now. I think this is 8 years, and it's been incredible. And I just consider myself fortunate to be a part of this amazing club, get to work alongside and for an amazing group of owners, and it was nice to see the club get recognized, and I was the specific beneficiary of it in this case, but I view it certainly as just recognition of what the club has achieved, not just this year, but to date.
It's a club that it goes to the beat of a different drummer than many others, as we've talked about in the past, maintaining the black and gold standard, which we know that very few clubs do. And 2024 obviously didn't finish the way you would have liked, but a lot of great stuff that happened within it, maintaining that high standard. Let's go back at some of your highlights. You look at the achievements, the Open Cup, finishing first in the West. When you look back at the body of work, what sticks out for you?
Yeah, I think we're still processing, doing our post-mortem. I think if you're asking me today, the obvious highlight was winning the Open Cup. I think that was a trophy that we've always really tried to win each year, and for different reasons. The one year we had a Champions League final the next week, and it was difficult, but it's a competition we've always taken very seriously. We are a club that is about winning trophies, and so we realized this year that we were not going to be in Champions League, and so we saw that as an opportunity to really go for the Open Cup. So it was really gratifying to celebrate another trophy here with the guys. So I would say that was one. I think we had a great run in Leagues Cup. Unfortunately, ended up a couple minutes short, where we're in a game in a final in a tough place to play, and I think the game's kind of tilting in our favor, and we give up 2 goals late, which was obviously a disappointment. So the reason I raised that is even coming out of that to then go straight to Seattle and win a semifinal in the Open Cup that eventually got us helped us get the trophy, was certainly said a lot about the group. Obviously the celebration, the end of the regular season, to win the West for the second time in 3 years, to win the table is again testament to the group's consistency, and having had a bit of a stuttering start, which we thought might be possible given where we were at with our roster and what have you, but to make the additions in the summer, play more games than everybody, and still end up at the top, I think, again, speaks to the consistency of the group. But if I'm honest, I think all of those things mean it was not a disappointing year, but I would be remiss if I didn't say we're not sitting here disappointed. We felt like we had a team that could win another trophy in MLS Cup, and we had it all there for us. And so I think we're still smarting at the fact that we didn't take care of the business and bring another MLS Cup to LAFC. So I would say we ended in a disappointing way, but that's not to paint the whole that by no means does that paint the whole season as a disappointing one.
Well, I know you're going to be busy at work to get it to that finish line in 2025. Before I get to that question, just something about the players and the seasons they had. Denny Bouanga was named to Best 11. A thought about what he was able to do, but some other players that may have not got the accolades nationally or through the league that you thought certainly were deserving.
Yeah, look, I think when we saw what Denis was capable of when he won Golden Boot 2 years ago, and we've seen that basically since he's been at LAFC. And I think what is remarkable is his consistency now with 20-plus goals and number of assists, 2-time Best 11, certainly in the talk for MVP each year. And that's certainly, not just him, but how the team supports him and gives him a chance to shine, which he has, and his consistency, his durability has been remarkable over these few years. So well-deserved recognition at best 11. When you ask about the others, I think there were some really strong seasons. I think if you just start at the back, the addition of Ugo has been tremendous. I know he didn't win goalkeeper of the year, but if I was able to vote, no disrespect to Kalina, but if I were able to vote, knowing what he does here every day, he would have got my vote. I think we saw a real a season of great progress for Sergi Palencia, who came in and really made the position his own, and he's shown just what a valuable asset he is for us in terms of his ability to defend and just starting to become a real leader within the group, and really grateful to see him take a significant step forward. I think Bogusz is another obvious example of adding productivity and to not just the talent, but actual end product to his game, and playing a number of positions, which I think is incredibly valuable in our constrained league, to have guys that can slot in at different positions and play well at winger, in the center midfield, as a striker, playing both sides. He certainly had an amazing year, and I think we will certainly look to add new pieces, but I think next year we're going to be talking about guys like David Martinez and some of our other younger players who we think will really take these great strides forward. We've seen what we've seen in glimpses. I think we'll see on a more consistent basis moving forward.
And that's how it works. You got to get the kids in, learn the system, and then they get to shine. So something to look forward to. And look, on the surface, we know this is an excellent team. They achieved some great things, but we've mentioned that black and gold standard, and then the offseason, which I know is very busy. Without getting into too many details, how do you prepare for this session of your year, knowing you want to always get this team to the lofty heights?
Yeah, look, for us, we don't hide behind our ambition. We don't take years off. We're going to go for it next year. I do think we're in a good spot to find the right balance of continuity with some new additions in key parts of the field. We are in talks with a couple of our guys to bring in the hopes of bringing them back. We have some announcements, I believe, coming up soon, which will be exciting for all of our supporters. And now we're busy going through all of our target lists of players and trying to find guys that we think, as you mentioned, to keep consistency with this black and gold standard, trying to win everything every year, and finding the players that will help deliver on that. And next year, and I'm sure we're going to get into that, but next year we're adding Champions League to the calendar, as well as Leagues Cup and obviously MLS Cup, Supporter Shield, all of the trophies that we're going to be going for. Our job now is which additions do we feel like, what positions do we need, what types of characters do we need to help us achieve all that we want next year.
There's a lot on your plate here with regards to there's the expansion draft, which LAFC is going to be involved, the super draft. So a lot of these mechanisms that you'll get towards to. I mean, how quickly do you have to pivot to off-season mode when you're in your position?
Yeah, I kind of just view it like concurrent paths. Like you have your day-to-day when you're in a season, but all the while you're thinking about, you're planning for the next windows, and we sort of have to be able to oscillate between the two and go down these paths concurrently. So it's not as though the offseason came and now all of a sudden we're focused on it. We've been looking at players and targets and in conversations with our current players, making decisions in and around the expansion draft and making moves that we need to do to strengthen the group.
Let's talk about the academy, LAFC2, as they continue to groom some of the local prospects. And the news earlier this week, Jude Terry, who is often mentioned amongst the handful of top-tier blue ribbon prospects in the United States. First, a question about Jude, and then I'll ask about the academy and how LAFC2 is viewed. But give us an idea of what Jude has done to get this point, to earn this contract, and the potential that he has. Yeah,
so Jude has shown remarkable commitment to LAFC. his family has shown an incredible commitment. They commute, they come up here. It's remarkable what they've done as a family and entrusted his development to LAFC. And I think Jude has benefited from that, as have we. And Jude has shown both at the academy level, the time he's gotten with LAFC2, as well as in youth national teams where he captains the group and plays up a number of age groups frequently. I think Jude has just shown that he is a top talent in this country. It's the type of player that we want to develop and want to have into our first team. And so these next few years are going to be key for Jude in terms of getting into a professional environment now and taking the steps needed. And we will certainly provide him with all the support and resources he needs to continue in his development and hopefully in the not too distant future be playing for our first team.
LAFC2 showing marked improvement year to year as they made the playoffs under Junior Gonzalez, and we see several players make it up to the first team, get that bump up to that contract. How have you viewed the past year, and what do you see the year ahead for the academy all the way up to LAFC2?
Yeah, I think the addition of LAFC2 and now competing in MLS Next Pro, having everybody at the facility, it's now a fully aligned platform for us to develop players. And Junior came in first year, did a remarkable job, and Jordan Harvey does a lot of work in terms of sourcing the players and helping Junior with all he needs. But Junior and Fabian and the coaching staff did a great job. We had the youngest average age team in the league and competed really well. We were unfortunate in the end, had a very evenly matched game. We ended up losing to St. Louis, who ended up going very far in the playoffs. But huge improvement and with the effort of our young academy players predominantly able to compete. And we've known that the talent has always been here in LA, and now it's about us finding the right players and getting them in the right environment to compete at these high levels in order to continue. And so we hope that this trend that we're seeing of academy players graduating into the second team and then second team into first team is something that we'll see more and more of.
And just something for the audience, you want to keep LAFC too young. Some teams put a lot of their reserve players in their 20s, but this is something that you want to see as that apparatus to give these younger kids those opportunities.
Yeah, I think, look, for us, let me do the quick math so I don't misstate. It's been 9 years of the academy. And yeah, for us, I think it's always been a critical part about who we were. We started our academy before we even started the first team, and now we're starting to see players like Ordaz, Dueñas starting to make a difference. We also have a lot of our academy players going to top universities across the country, which is also anything we can do to help. I think we have a moral obligation to the futures of our academy players, whether they end up playing for LAFC or whether they end up at a top Ivy League university, whatever the case may be. And so I still think there's some work to do to really optimize the talent here and our whole academy operation. And that's work that's underway and will continue. But the dream for me would be to have the backbone of LAFC be made up of our academy graduates, kids that have grown up knowing what LAFC is, what we're about. They know our game model and are so excited to wear this badge with pride in front of their friends and family at BMO. That's the dream for me.
Yeah, and the process is working, and we'll certainly see that. But I know everyone's anticipating that moment to all click into place. Earlier this week, John, the Concacaf Champions Cup, as it's now known, drawn. This is the third year. LAFC's had tremendous success in the past, and I know you are expecting much of the same here in 2025. Why is this such a big deal for you and the club to be able to compete not just internationally, but specifically in this tournament?
We've always talked about wanting to be a player in global football. And I think the only way we really can do that, we obviously have the increased continental competition. We play against Canada regularly and now Mexico in both Champions League and the Leagues Cup. But we've always said we want to be a player in the global transfer market. We want our guys to go up against the best of the best, and this is the way to do it. And so we've always put winning Champions League as the top of our list as to what we want to achieve. We have made 2 finals. We've been painfully close twice, and not achieved that yet. But, you know, we're in our relatively short existence. We're starting to tick off all of the trophies that we want. It makes us hungry for more. And this is one that we don't yet have that we very much want.
Well, good luck to all of that, John, because I know this is probably, you're going to be off very busy doing your thing. I hope you get a little time in the ocean and with the fan. And I know 2025 here will be here before we all know it.
It will. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We all will find the right balance and find the time to be with our families and loved ones. And in my case, as you say, get in the ocean. So we appreciate that and hope that for all of the supporters and for you guys as well. It's important that we come back refreshed to achieve all we want in 2025.
I know I speak for the supporters at John We Trust. We look forward to a new season here very soon. Thanks for your time, John, and we'll see you at the PC soon enough.
Thank you, guys.
John Thorrington joining us here on Inside LAFC Podcast Extra Time. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll keep it coming as we get you ready for 2025. And until we see each other again, let's go Black and Gold.